Hey guys, welcome back to TezMania TV. Today I am in my kitchen and that can only mean one thing. It's time for a long-awaited episode of Food and Drinks with Tez. I did a couple of cooking and beverage videos a while back, and then I kind of lost track of it and I don't know, didn't have any inspiring recipes to share, I suppose. Today I'm gonna introduce you to a recipe that I have inherited from my mother. It's a very simple entree dish. You can use it as an appetizer, or if you really like eggs, you can eat this as a full lunch, which is actually what I plan on doing today. This dish contains shrimp, but you can turn it into a lacto-ovo-vegetarian version if you just leave the shrimp out. Here's what you're gonna need for this. You're gonna need eggs. You're gonna need regular cream. You're gonna need moldy cheese, so blue cheese of any kind. And to serve it, you're going to need regular lettuce, those shrimp I mentioned, green olives with pimento, you know, the little paprika. And you're also gonna need some paprika powder. Let's get cooking. First thing we're gonna do is start boiling the eggs. I'm using 3 eggs today. I'm only cooking for myself, but one of my favorite things about this dish is eating one of the eggs the next day when everything is kind of had time to set and it tastes even better. When my parents made this dish when I still lived at home, I always loved their dinner parties and waking up the next day and having one of these eggs for breakfast. So I'm boiling an extra egg today. I'm gonna cook these for about 6 minutes. You want the yolk to set, but you don't want it to be super hard because it needs to be easy to mash it up. You don't want it to be runny though, because that's just gonna give a completely different consistency. While I'm waiting for the eggs to boil, I'm gonna start preparing the garnishes, namely the lettuce and the shrimp. I'm cutting the lettuce into thinner strips, because that's just how my mom always does it. And the purpose of the lettuce is to kind of serve as a bed for everything else to rest on. I think that's enough for one person. Look at those shrimp. Big, beautiful. Ah. I don't like buying the frozen kind or the kind that is in like salty water because there's usually very little flavor left in those. So these are big and awesome and filled with flavor. When you serve the eggs like this with shrimp and lettuce, it kind of turns into a full course. And for me, it works really well for lunch. It kind of feels like a salad, like a fancy salad. But if you're doing this as an entree, you don't need this much food, unless your guests are super hungry. The next step now requires the eggs to be finished, but I'm gonna prepare by opening the cheese and getting out something to mix everything in. By the way, this is the cheese that I'm using. I'm pretty sure this is only available in Sweden. It's called Kvibille, and this is a very creamy blue cheese. There's a bowl to mix everything in, and I don't have the recipe in front of me, so I'm just gonna mix together and taste as I go along. So what we're gonna be doing is mixing the yolk together with the cheese and the cream, and then we're gonna put that back into the eggs. It's really quite simple, but so delicious. I'm gonna keep that cutting board handy because I'm gonna need to mush up both the yolk and the cheese. And it can be difficult doing that like straight into the bowl. So I'm just gonna use the cutting board and a fork to mush everything up and then mix it together in the bowl. I think the eggs are ready now. Just putting cold water onto those. And I'm gonna let them rest in the cold water for a couple of minutes so that they're not hot when it's time to crack them. So while we wait for that, I'm gonna mush up some cheese. And I'm not gonna need the whole cheese because I only have 3 eggs. But again, just going by heart. I think maybe this much. Put that in the bowl. I think the eggs have rested long enough now. Just gonna cut this in half lengthwise, and the yolk is a little gooey still. It's like the perfect egg but it's gonna be okay. You just remove that yolk and put it in with that cheese. I'm just placing the whites onto the lettuce and shrimp. Aha, I got the entire one. So I'm going to mix the yolks together with the cheese. And I'm going to add some cream. Again, I'm doing this by heart, not actually following the measurements. So I'm just putting a little bit in there. You want it to be creamy, but not super runny. Make sure that you mush up your cheese, or otherwise you're gonna have like lumps of cheese in here. Okay, I think we got it. It's time to fill the eggs. My mom always puts way too much of this in when she does this. I love that. They're always like tipping over because they're so full. Ah, it's everywhere. And then it's time to take the olives out. I'm just gonna place one on each egg. If you don't like olives, you can skip this step. And as a final touch, you were supposed to put a light powder of paprika on this, but we have run out of paprika, so that's just how it is. But yeah, that is the finished dish. And I'm getting quite hungry, so I'm gonna sit down and eat this right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, do no harm, but take no shit. I'll see you next time.